Hey, welcome, welcome, welcome. We will get got a lot to talk about tonight. Got some fabulous stuff to talk about tonight. So we're going to do a bit of scandal. We're going to do a bit of conspiracy. We're going to do obviously a little bit of politics. We're going to do general election, and we're going to do showbiz, and we're going to do stuff. Lots of it. Lots of us that you've never seen, you've not had reported. So my sources are impeccable, but we're going to get down to it. Let's get into some of the comments that have come in early doors. And before anybody says anything, it's man flu and I'm dying. So if it suddenly goes quiet, just get a big stick and give me a prod. I will. So my head's a bit foggy. So the irreverent reverend might not be so irreverent this evening. It's just a bit foggy. That's all. Neil Cunningham says, "Good evening, brethren and Reverend Allen. Please welcome a new member to the congregation this evening, my 8-week-old kitten that I've named Jaffa. I do hope you're going to be sitting listening to the sermon this evening whilst giving Jaffa a little stroke." Neil. Andrew James says, "Evening double eight." Welcome, Neil, by the way, and Jaffa. Hang on. Just for Jaffa. Andrew James says, "Evening double A. The hymns are up tonight. It's Whips and Furs by the Vibrators." Great tune. Social Call by Hank Williams Jr. and a Kiss tribute from a local pub will be singing All Night and Lick It Up. I've been to those kind of parties before. Andrew James continues, "If you wish to use the church water closet," I was trying to think of a more posh name than bog. If you wish to use the church water closet, there's only 3 sheets of bright pink bog paper per person. How very dare you, Andrew? At least it's almost the same colour as Battenberg. Well, it won't on leaving said water closet. Did I post a picture of the chocolate and was it chocolate and pineapple or chocolate and orange Battenberg that I had while I was out with my good lady? Who's that? I think it's Penny. Hang on a second. Let me just have a little click through because nothing better. Oh, it's Penny Hen. Good evening, Penny Hen. Welcome to the body of the Kirk as always. To Rexanne, good evening, everyone. Tonight's reading will be from Love, Lipstick and Lies by Katie Price. I've seen the video, Rexanne. Hopefully, yeah, that video. Hopefully, with a few house cleaning tips. Oh, I say. Has she got her marigolds up to the elbow? Has young Katie, mind you, she needs a bob or 3 because, what's she call it? Mucky Mansion. The Mucky Mansion's had to be sold. Tax, as always. So, welcome, Rexanne. Welcome to the body of the Kirk. To Louise Hampson, good evening, all. Louise, welcome to the body of the Kirk. Stuart, hang on, have you been writing that with invisible ink? Because there's nothing printed. Andrew James says, "If Amalia is in tonight, ask her. She does keep Ferrero Rochers in her handbag." Oh, I say. Tablock Tracy's in the body of the Kirk. She will be on, probably, we'll forget it's Wednesday, and rock up late. That's Amalia for you. Stuart says, I hope she is, Andrew. I'll have one with my coffee. Just the one, Stuart? Andrew James said, TBT, have you got the Mars bars? Oh, I say. Who was the actress come singer that Mick Jagger did with a Mars bar? Faith. Oh, I can't remember her first name. Oh, honestly, you can tell I'm my head's pretty woolly tonight. Can't think of anything, but I'm sure Tablock Tracy will know exactly who Mick Jagger. Marianne Faithfull, thank you very much. Oh, you're too kind. Thank you. Marianne Faithfull, yeah. When the cops broke in trying to find drugs and Mick Jagger was seemingly, according to myth and legend, Mick Jagger was doing Marianne Faithfull with a Mars bar. What a tightwad. I mean, they were only about that big. Marcia Toms, which ginger has been nibbling the Battenberg? Own up, you wrong'un. Hang on, what do you mean? Which ginger? There's only one ginger in the body of the Kirk. It's the Reverend. Marcia Toms, how could you? Have you not seen? Do you know? I give you a little Easter egg on the little thumbnail for this live. I give you a little funny, and nobody's mentioned it. I'm gutted. It did mention Ginger and Battenberg. Fanta Pews. Thank you, Marcia. Welcome to the body of the Kirk. I said I love the thumbnail for the live and was going to find something to go with my coffee that isn't Battenberg. Stuart, thank you. You're one of the few. Very observant. Rich says, move down the pews, you wrongin'. It's standing room only tonight for the Rev's sermon. Standing is good, so I'm told, at my age. Thank you, Rich. Neil Cunningham says, those Scotland fans belt out Flower of Scotland with real pride. Yeah, you want to live with them. Alan says, hello, Robbins. Will the choir boys behave this evening, please? Oh, I say, Alan, what are they up to? You can't quite see from my angle. Radio Stew, good evening, quadruple A. Radio Stew, is that Radio Stew that I know? Radio Stew. Rich, howdy. And finally, Andy Sinsky says, evening all, I've just found a block of Highland toffee. Oh, I say, share it amongst the congregation, Andy. Found a block of Highland toffee. I'm here, but we'll be munching quietly in the rear. You'll be chewing toffee. I know a few women that do that with great talent. Stop it, Adrian. Evening, Adrian. Love the thumbnail. Made me LOL. Got the coffee ready now to find something to go with it that isn't Battenberg. Oh, I say. We will get to the legendary Battenbergers in a moment. The super stickers and the super likes are open for you, should you wish to deem this live this evening of any quality whatsoever. But I just want to say, I am the irreverent reverend. There is room in the body of the Kirk for everyone. It's a broad church. If you slightly lean to the left, then you can go with everyone that likes going left-ish. And same if you kind of lean to the right, a bit like Nigel Farage. He could sit in the right-hand side of the church if he so wished, if he wanted to regale us with his company. And then if you just like straight down the middle, just go straight down the middle. Mind you, the word straight is not something that I would associate with this evening's congregation, to be fair. And welcome to the Church of the Holy Battenberg. My name is Adrian Allen, and I will be your irreverent reverend this evening with a very interesting sermon, I do hope. Next live is 92. It's this coming Sunday, 8 o'clock. Please be there. Thankfully, none of the future England matches are ever going to be on a Wednesday or a Sunday. Seemingly, it's Thursdays and Tuesdays from here on in. Well, for the next two anyway. And I was going to quote Noam Chomsky. I'm not quite sure whether you're up on a bit of Chomsky, the great thinker and philosopher. And it was, I think it was on X last night or the night before. I can't remember on what day we Wednesday. It might have been Monday. X was a buzz with, oh, Noam Chomsky's died. And then his wife had to go on X and go, no, he hasn't. He's here. He's here with me. So I don't know where that rumour started, but Noam Chomsky, one of the great thinkers of the 20th century, one of my favourite quotes from him is, we shouldn't be looking for heroes, we should be looking for good ideas, and they're always welcome in the body of the Kirk on any of the lives. But this is live 91, and next live 92, obvs, this coming Sunday. Don't forget the altar wine and a slice of Battenberg, but if you wish, we may change the altar wine to brandy, because it's very good for you, so I'm told, by a very dear friend. And the sermon is about to begin, so please open your prayer books to page 69. I'll wait till you stop laughing, you're wrong. It's going to be a Swifty, Kate Middleton free zone. I mean, I've had people giving me it tight. Tight's always good, but not when you kind of like, it's like bloody nagging. Somebody saying, please don't call her Kate. Please call her by her full name. Okay, I'll wait for you. She's the Duchess of this, that, and the other, Scotland, Ireland, England, and Wales. So I'll wait. That's very good tailback tracing. Make it page 68 and I'll owe you one. Well, we could get to 68. That's the normal speed limit, is it? At 68, you turn around. So somebody said, "Oh, you can't call her Kate." Well, that's the reason. I reckon the reason why the newspapers call her Kate is because there's only 4 letters in that, and they can fit that into a headline. And if she's the Duchess of Argyll, the Duchess of Rothesay, the Duchess of Windsor, and the Duchess of this and that and the other, we could be here all day. In fact, it could take up the whole newspaper, giving her a proper title. But it's a Swifty and Kate Middleton free zone. Hurrah! But tonight we're going to have a bit of scandal, bit of showbiz gossip, some political clarity, some conspiracies, and something to get your teeth into. Or if you're old enough, take your teeth out and then you don't leave any marks. So, the legendary Battenbergers for this evening. Welcome, Rich. Thank you very much for your support and kindness as ever, young sir. Do we start with a bit of royalty? I mean, I know there's loads and loads and loads of... quite a bit. Hang on a second. Tablock Tracy says, no Mars bars this evening, just chunky Kit Kats. Oh, I say. What, oh, that's a full meal for Marianne. So they say. Let me do that. Do I? I will. I'm just going to do a little click through so I can get onto the comments document so I can feed that document with everything that's being said. So let me just do that. It's all right. I'll let you finish off the altar wine and your very welcome and free slice of Battenberg whilst I actually talk and do at the same time. It's called multi-skilling, and we men are not supposed to be able or allowed to multi-skill because I'll have Paloma Faith on me back again. She's been anti-blokes all week this week. She's been all men are bar stewards. She's been going down that particular shtick. But she's got a book, documentary, a new album that came out in February. She's got all those things to promote because evidently when you're not in the public eye, nobody pays any attention. Welcome the Bovril. Let's get into some royal stuff, shall we? Yes, why not? Let me just get rid of this and that's done. So we're all very good, very, very good. Let's get into some royal stuff. Simply because, well, it's Royal Ascot because the royals are there, and it just gets to feel a little odd, really, because Lady Gabriella Windsor is there and all smiles. Now, I get that they're royals. I get that they've been finishing schools. I get that, they don't give away their emotion. No. The great British stiff upper lip. Stiff is good, upper lip, not so sure. And, I mean, we've got Rotund Andy, or Rotund Boy Andy. He's a war hero, shagger seemingly, and now pot-bellied royal. Have you seen the pictures this week? Oi. Hey, get out for a jog, Andy, mate. What? We'll get one of your servants to do it for you. But poor old fat lad Andy. I mean, letting the side down. At least Charles's fingers have slimmed down. So if good old sausage fingers can slim his fingers down, I mean, no wonder Camilla's been looking a little grumpy of late. But young Andy can get out there and go for a jog. I mean, I think you'd probably be comfort eating if you found out that your dad wasn't your dad. Porchy, anyone? What do you mean? You've not heard? Not Duke of Edinburgh. The conspiracy theory is that Edinburgh was never his father. Porchy, Edinburgh was off. Kitty Kelly has a book called The Royals, and I've got a copy somewhere, and what she includes in that is literally breathtaking. It's a fabulous book if you can get hold of a copy. Kitty Kelly, The Royals, and it talks about Edinburgh having children all over the world, especially South America, and seemingly the word was that Her Majesty the Queen, Queen Elizabeth II, went, hang on, how many kids has he got? I'm the Queen. I can do whatever I want. So the Queen had a little dance with her very good friend, Porchy, who'd been very good friends for a long time with the Queen, and bugger me if her son Andrew didn't come out looking like Porchy. But there you go. It's one of those conspiracy theories. We don't know whether it's true or not. Seemingly, Edinburgh had a lady right to the end. Good on him. I mean, at his age, whatever he was wearing needed ironing, certainly. So, he's Porky, son of Porchy, in my house. Whether that's true or not, it's just conspiracies. And they as I said to you on Sunday, they're going to try and stop those that say things in all good faith that they believe it to be true. Because let's face it, they don't want the truth getting out. They don't want anything getting out. But it's Royal Ascot this week, so I thought I would give you a couple of things. So Fergie today has stated categorically she's not going to remarry Andrew. Why is that then, Fergie? Oh, hang on a second. Forgive me for being a cynical old tart. She's got a new romance novel out to promote. So she's just telling everybody, no, I'm not marrying him. He's a fat lad. Why would I want to marry him? Have you seen him? State of him. He's supposed to be a royal prince. Look at the fat lad on the horse. No. I'm not. I'm just, categorically, I'm never going to renew my vows. Oh, by the way, I've got a new book out. And then there's Lady Gabriella Windsor, whose husband was found with a catastrophic head wound and a gun lying next to him. Didn't say they'd shot him, didn't say that he committed suicide, and within 2 days, the coroner had opened and closed an inquest to be resumed at some point that we'll never find out about. I wonder why that is. Brilliant. Who said that? Does Andrew wear sweatpants? Wiki videos. Yeah, utter wrong. What happened to Fergie's feet? I think they were... Penelope, I think she had them sucked. We all know Fergie is really a What? Brilliant. We all know that Fergie is a man called... I'm not quite sure what... Honestly, it's brilliant. I mean, obviously that's not true, and we've seen the newspaper headlines to corroborate the fact that she loves having her toes sucked. And was it Bryant? Can't remember his first name. That was sucking her toes on the front of, I think it was the sun at the end of a long lens. But Fergie's some gal, from what I understand. Her dad says she was a bit boring. Cool, blimey, if that's boring, I'd hate to see proper boring. Johnny Bryant. Oh, yes. Johnny Bryant sucking her toes. I mean, if he wanted something to eat, he could have had breakfast. Imagine sweaty feet. Yuck. And Lady Gabriella Windsor has been getting cuddles from the royal family. Princess Anne was in the coach in the procession for Royal Ascot. So it's evidently the royal family embracing Lady Gabriella Windsor for a reason. I wonder what that reason would be when husband was found with a catastrophic head wound and a gun lying next to him. I can't say. I can't say. You can possibly say that. Sorry, you can say that, but I can't possibly comment. House of Cards. The British version was better than the American version, I think. Shall we talk about some of the utter BS that's floating around, like the return of Bojo the Clown? Shall we talk about Rich Boy, who I told you months ago that he'd lined up a job in California. Turns out that his house in California is worth $7.2 million. $7.2 million in California. What on earth does he want to be in Richmond, North Yorkshire for? Because his house there is only, like, it's a, I don't know, 2 up, 2 down with a couple of bathrooms. I mean, Richmond's very posh. I've played cricket, captained a cricket team on their green in Richmond and had a few liveners there. Just a few. I wasn't driving. And so I get that you understand that Rich Boy, it's basically politics by focus group. But it's kind of married with identity politics. If you look at what they do with Biden and Trump, and it's just BS. It's all BS. It's all stuff. Well, we will get to President Poopy Pants in a minute. But it's like in this country, it's just identity politics. It's, Sir Keir Starmer. Is he scaring you yet? We're not far away. And Rich Boy, And then there's nobody else. There's literally nobody else in politics. There's no Greens. There's no Lib Dems. There's no Farage or Reform. It's only that's why they started the debates. It wasn't a mass debate. It was just the two of them. But that's why they did it, because now you're looking at the politicians and going, oh, quite like him. Oh, no, don't like her. I mean, have you seen Angela Rayner in that pink trouser suit today? Oh, blimey, who dressed her? Stevie Wonder. It's like, my eyes. I'll never get that scraped off the back of my retinas. But it's this identity politics where they go, oh, they point the finger at the opposition, and the opposition point the finger back at them, and everybody goes, oh no, we're tired with this. So there's a new poll that's come out today for the Telegraph, the Tory graph, and they reckon that the Tories are only going to get 53 seats, which is a bit pants, really, but they're only just ahead of the Lib Dems at 50. So Sunak is going to, according to this poll in the Tory graph today, Sunak's going to lose his seat, the first Prime Minister ever to lose their seat. That's because he's shite, man. Technical term we use in radio. I mean, is he someone that's engaging you? But Angela makes a lousy breakfast too. Brilliant. Scotland 1 up. Thank you, Rich. Nice one. The lads will be cheering in. Did I tell you the time England, Scotland, was it the World Cup? No, England were playing a game in the World Cup. It was the one where Frank Lampard scored and the referee said he didn't. And it was sort of 4 feet over the line. I was in a pub in Musselburgh in Scotland, and it was proper going to kick off because I was just shouting for the English lads. They didn't like it. They didn't like it up in Captain Mannering. They didn't. So it was all going to kick off. Oh, I wish it had. No, just, I mean, I offered a couple of them a beer, but it was going to start just by people lobbing pints at me. my then girlfriend was like, we need to leave. I'm like, behave. England's on the telly. It's a big telly in here. Oh, I'm not going home yet. I want to see the end of the match. No, we need to leave. And her half-brother, who was a serving police officer, says, you might want to think about going home. And I was like, no, stuff it. If it kicks off, fine. But I'm watching the England match until the end of the England match. But it was all bants. It was wonderful. So this new poll for the Telegraph, it's predicting 75% of the cabinet will be voted out. Hurrah! Oh, I wonder if Hitchcock's going. The birds. So 75% of the cabinet are going to be voted out. The Lib Dems are behind the Tories on 50 seats. So it's the Lib Dems on 50, the Tories on 53. Labour is predicted to bag 516 seats. There's only 650 in the whole bloody parliament. They're going to have a majority of 392. This is the latest poll in the Tory graph. The Labour predicted 516 seats with a majority of 392. Reform are predicted to get 0 seats. I'm going to tackle that in a second because it is the Tory graph that's publishing this bollocks. And the SNP are going to go down to 8 MPs. We don't give a flying about the SNP. We don't give a flying about Jimmy Cranky. We don't give a flying... Well, we do give a flying about whether the police are going to find out what's happened with her husband. Can't go any further because it's an active case. But Labour, as I said with identity politics, it's only about Sir Keir. Yes, Sir Keir. Is he scaring you yet? So I would suggest that the clowns have forgotten they're supposed to be funny, and they're not. They're just lying through their back teeth or their £1,000 veneers. They do say revenge is a dish best served cold. So I'm going to... I wanted to give you that poll because I wanted to give you the compare and contrast between the pollsters. They haven't got a clue. The people that I'm speaking to on the ground, these are the people that have no reason to lie. These are the people that are not talking to the pollsters because, like it has happened in the past, where people have gone, oh, yeah, I'm going to vote Labour, and then they vote Tory. Oh, yeah, I'm going to vote Tory, and then they vote Reform. And the pollsters go, tick. Oh, I say, it's going to be a 392 seat majority for the Labour Party. And then another poll, which I'm going to tell you about in just a moment, reveals exactly the opposite. But as I say, the clowns have forgotten they're supposed to be funny, especially Bojo the clown. So I hear that Bojo the clown, Boris, wasn't very happy that Rich Boy went to the country quickly because he's still on his summer halls. I mean, he's probably over in Ukraine telling Zelensky, mate, Volodymyr, no, don't stop the war, man. Don't, no. A few of us have got to make a few mil, man. Bojo the clown is not returning, seemingly. Seemingly, he's on his halls and he's coming back on the 3rd of July. Oh, that's a bit inconvenient. Boris, mate, I mean, did you get on your bike? See what I did there? Binface for Prime Minister. I agree. Count Binface. I saw his manifesto, or their manifesto. We don't know whether it's male or female. Well, if they're calling them Count Binface, they've got to be male. But I had a look at his manifesto, which was just funny. But Bojo's not coming back till the 3rd of July. So there's Bojo possibly pulling the crowds, where disappearing Sunak looks even tinier. They're all midgets. They're all tiny. But I think that Sunak's been put in there to actually do this particular job on purpose, so that the red colour will have 2 terms, which will get us past Agenda 21 and get us past Agenda 2030. So we become part of the Stalinist EU cabal and the Westminster cabal, and there's no turning back once we get that far. But anyway, let me tell you that the political classes are in meltdown, because they are a bit plastic and obviously somebody sat them too near to the fire. But Nigel Farage is on course to win the Clacton by-election with the biggest swing in modern electoral history, a new poll has suggested. Can you see how they write this guff? A Survation poll commissioned by Aaron Banks, a former UKIP donor, suggested Farage will win the Clacton by-election with 42% of the vote. The Tories on 27 and Labour on 24. So it's Farage and Reform that'll get in. But the Tory graph, obviously they want to look after their lads. The Telegraph have said, no, Reform is predicted to get 0 seats. I mean, what do they do? Well, let's just stick a finger in the air. But this is Survation said the scale of the projected swing. I like a politician to be a swinger. Survation said the scale of the projected swing from the Tories to Reform would be extremely rare and unprecedented in modern electoral history. So who can you believe? One pollsters that say, oh no, Reform's not going to get anything, and another one saying, core blimey, he's pulled it out of the bag. And the election. So Nigel Farage was quoted as saying, this poll shows Reform will win seats at the election. I think many people are going to be surprised on July the 4th. If you vote Reform, you get Reform. And as I've said to you before, I've spoken to lifelong Tory party voters who've only ever voted for the Tory party, and they're not voting for the Tory party. They've had enough. They said they're corrupt. They've said, I can't vote for them. They've ruined everything. Can't vote for Labour, can't vote for Starmer, I can't vote for the Lib Dems, they're a bit, and I can't vote for anybody else, the Greens or anybody, so I'm now looking at Reform. But there is, I put a poll up, which I'm going to run for a couple of days, because I want to know, if you, I mean, you can give me your answer here, if you wish. Let me just click a few buttons. I think the poll is, have you absolutely, categorically decided who you're going to vote for? And it's just a simple yes or no, I'm not going to vote. But it will be interesting. I'm not going to ask you Oh, hang on a second. Tail block Tracy with the pineapples. I catch your drift, Tail block Tracy. I'm not going to ask you who you're going to vote for, because that's between your heart and your conscience. And I was always taught from 18 by my family that you never tell people how you voted. So are you so it's kind of 1 for yes, 2 for no. Have you categorically decided who you're going to vote for? Is it yes or no? And those that go no, I'll take them as waverers. So it's 1 for yes, 2 for no. Have you absolutely categorically decided who you're going to vote for? I have, because I believe the person that I'm going to vote for is quite a decent person in amongst it all. So are we getting past? So I'll let you vote away while you're doing that. Let me just give me that. And I'm just going to press a few buttons while I talk to you. Oh, come on. Surely my computer's on. Right, okay. So it looks like a lot of people, the majority, Popeye Wazza, 1, 2, 1, 2, check. Yeah, wrong. The Jacobite, yes, and it will probably be for them for the last time. That's very interesting, the Jacobite. Because I think a lot of people are thinking exactly the same as you. They have their way of voting, but this Telegraph poll that's got Labour winning 516 seats. There's only 650 in the whole of Parliament. So they'd have a majority of 392. 516, 520, 650, 130, 134. They've got 53 seats for the Tories and 50 for the Lib Dems. That's 103, and there's 124. It's going to be very interesting. And don't forget that we're going to do something. We're going to do a live from 10 o'clock in the evening. So it's a bit like late night. Only the adults can be on the live. It's an 18 plus. So we can be ranty and we can be potty mouthed because we're adults, and it might not go the way we want, but it'll be interesting. I'm going to have to do some research to keep you entertained while we do it. Oh, Martin, cool, blimey, sir. Just a little late, but welcome to the body of the Kirk. So on the one hand, we've got a poll from the Telegraph going, oh, it's like this. And then we've got another poll from Survation going, Farage is going to get in with 42% of the votes in Clacton, which has never been known. I mean, are you sick of Sakia? My dad was a toolmaker. Obviously, evidence of his dad's work on the TV every day. And I was on YouTube earlier, putting this live up. Getting it up in the afternoon, Adrian, at your age, what-oh. And so I, all of a sudden, I got Ed Davey from nowhere. And he was talking about his caring for his son, and he was talking about stuff. And I was thinking, hang on a second. They think we're dim, these idiots. So what they're trying to do is they're trying to humanize the robots, the AI. I mean, I know they're not AI. Well, they might be. You never know. But they're just trying to humanize these robots that want the power, not necessarily the money, because there's not really, in getting paid as an MP or as a minister, not that much money in it. But they are definitely trying to humanize them. So they're trying to Sir Keir Starmer, oh, my dad was a toolmaker. And Sunak, oh, my mum was a nurse. And Ed Davey, I've got a disabled son. And there's Sir Keir Starmer coming out today. His missus is saying, oh, yeah, I was a bit frightened because some people tried to attack the house and put stuff on the house. And why is that then, Mrs. Starmer? So all I'm going to say to you is the Tories have fudged it. Fudging a huge amount of illegals into this country. Ipso facto, if they fudged it and they're fudging a huge amount of illegals into this country, there must be fudge packers, a lot of them. We're going to lose our sovereignty. There's going to be globalist control. It's going to be climate communism. And remember, vote Muppet, because that's what you're going to get. Talking of Muppets, back to Ed Davey on YouTube. Humanising the leader, I get that. I absolutely get that. So you've got your captain of the team, so you've got to humanise them. But hang on a second, what about Sir Alan Bates versus the post office? Because nobody's addressing that particular elephant in the room, are they? No. So Ed Davey, here mate, Foxtrot Oscar, Hadaway, go on, Foxtrot Oscar, we've had enough. You didn't do anything decent for the postmasters and postmistresses and all the post office staff that were absolutely getting mullered by the post office. And then where did the money go? Because that's fraudulent. That is a jailable offence. I'm not talking about Ed Davey nicking money, but the post office did. Where did that money go? Fujitsu, where did that money go? Yeah, thieving oiks. So I do hope we see them in nicely striped suits, the post office management and the Fujitsu management, because they've all thieved money. They've all thieved good people's money. So get them in jail. Foxtrot Oscar, we've had enough of you. No. And Davey, here, mate. Agincourt, I've got a bit of a twitch. He thinks we're stupid, that idiot. Muppet. Vote Muppet. You're going to get one anyway. So I thought what we could do tonight and over the next few weeks is play a new game. It's a wonderful new game because I've just invented it. It's called Political Deadpool. You tell me who you think's going to be deselected. Because if, according to the Tory graph, if 75% of the ministers are going to Foxtrot Oscar, it's a very lonely place. Let's play Political Deadpool. Who do you think is going to be deselected? And it's just, we're just flying a kite here. We're not suggesting that they are. It's just, you may have had enough of them. They're politicians. And we can pretty much Political Deadpool. How many bodies do you think we're going to find there? We can do it over the next couple of weeks, I think. Sir Keir. Remember, Sir Keir Starmer, that's the man that wanted mandatory jibber jabbers. Remember him? Mandatory. You were going to be told by that evil entity that's possibly going to be Prime Minister, you are going to have the jibber jabber. And remember, Sir Keir Starmer is exactly the same bloke who said he wanted longer lockdowns. Can I ask you the question again? Sir Keir Starmer, is he scaring you yet? Because he bloody should be. Mandate the jibber jabber. Longer lockdowns. And look at the mental health crisis we've got in this country. Look at what's going on. No, they're not talking about knife crime, are they? No. Do you know that in schools, there's 4 knife crimes happening per week now? It's nearly 1 a day in the schools. And have any of them come out with something in their policy that's going to start and deal with knife crime in this country? Have they bollocks? Can I ask you again, Sir Keir Starmer? Is he scaring you yet? Because this boy's going to ruin the country. Now, I'm not telling you which way to vote. I will say to you, it's between you, your conscience, and your heart. Starmer the dictator, coming to a country near you soon. Oh, and it's kind of good news, bad news. That's the good news. The bad news is if you wanted to vote via post, you had to have it in yesterday. That's the postal vote, not anything else. Yeah, wrong. Brilliant. We've had a poll from Antarctica and the Tories are going south. So yesterday, the 18th, it's the 19th today, I hope, longest day on Friday, 21st. We will talk about Just Stop Oil, those. I wish I'd been there. So applications closed yesterday for postal votes. But I just want to run this by you so you get this. France banned mail-in votings in 1975. Why? Due to fraud. Mexico banned mail-in voting in 1992. Why? Due to fraud. Belgium banned mail-in voting in 2018. Due to fraud. Sweden does not permit mail-in voting. Italy does not permit mail-in voting. Ukraine, I mean, it's one of the most corrupt countries on planet Earth. Even Ukraine does not permit mail-in voting. Russia does not permit mail-in voting. And Japan, and they're the politest society possibly on planet Earth. Japan does not permit mail-in voting. No Middle Eastern country permits mail-in voting, and no Latin country permits mail-in voting. And us, Blighty, the Great Britain, the United Kingdom, oh yeah, don't worry, you can vote via post. I wonder who that benefits then. Alan says he's going to wear a gimp mask when he votes twice. Is it? Oh, so Alan, are you Count McBinface? You can wear your bin face mask. And the other thing that has suddenly gone very quiet, very, very, very quiet, is the bloody junior doctors. Remember, they're going to strike 5 days before the election. It's only 2 weeks away. This means, because it's like, hang on a second, the election's 4th of July. Where are we? 2 and a bit weeks. Well, hang on. 1, 2, is it 3 weeks tomorrow? So the junior doctors are only 2 weeks away from their strike. 5 days before the election. End of June. So let's have a question. You know, you don't have to vote, but I'm just sort of off the top of my head, because I am off my head tonight. Does this mean that they won't ever strike once Labour get into power? Now, you know, becoming a doctor is a vocation, but once you get up to the mighty corridors of power that is a consultant, you make a shit ton of money. Hang on, new constituency polling from Clacton. Reform 42, Conservative 27, Labour 24, Greens 5, Lib Dems 2, and others 1. I think that's the same poll that we're talking about. So I've said to you before, all the political parties, when they've been talking about the NHS, have been saying, yes, we'll give more money to the NHS. Stop that malarkey. Stop it. Because that's the easiest thing in the world to say. Oh, yeah, we'll give the NHS more money. But it seems that it doesn't matter how much money you give to the NHS is always on the verge of collapse. So maybe if we had a politician that was honest and says that the NHS is broken, but what we are going to do is we're going to fix it. So we're going to stop all of the doctors and all of the companies that the NHS would outsource the facilities to, and we would bring them back in-house. Because what's happening is that the corridors of power are picking off with private companies supplying the NHS with varying bits and pieces. So imagine Adrian Allen had the 4th Emergency Service, AA, or whatever it was called. And I said to the NHS, right, yeah, anything to do with legs, I'm your man. Yeah. If you need a new ankle, need a new knee, need a new hip, or you need some corrective surgery, I'm your man. And this is how much I'll charge you for each of them. And the NHS go, oh, wonderful, thank you. Yeah, we can't do that. And we'll have specialist hospitals. Are you able to build a specialist hospital? Oh, yeah, we can do that. Yeah. Yours are Hughes. Yeah. Gives a job. So, yeah, we can do that. Oh, lovely. So if you build a hospital, we'll send all of our leggy bits to you. And then you can charge us. So they're outsourcing the leggy bits to Adrian Allen and his 4th Emergency Service. So the money is being drained from the NHS for profit. because it's a massive, big cash cow. And the big cash cows, education, NHS, policing, and they want to privatise it all. I mean, there's a load of schools now that are private schools in essence, but they've got some fancy name nowadays where, oh yes, we're that kind of school where we do this and we do that and we do the other. But look at the thick tarts that they're producing. It's all about profit. It's all about the Benjamins. It's all about the greenbacks. And nobody, not one politician, you know why? Because they're getting bought off. Oh, how much would you like in the brown envelope? £4,000, okay? Neil Hamilton. It was the first time me and you went, hang on a second, he's getting brown envelopes full of what? Not rent, boys. Cash. Spondulics. Readies. Moolah. So the big cash cows are all there, not to be disassembled, but to make profit out of. So I've told you and told you and told you and told you over the last 18 months. And I'm telling you this again, so that when you go and vote, you look at the politician that you are voting into power. And find out what they're going to do. Not, we'll give the NHS more money. No. How much and what you're going to do with it. And where's the money going and how's it going to be spent? Because they haven't got that detail. These are broad brushstroke kind of guys and girls. But they give it to companies to do the detail bit. And that's why they're doing it. So the junior doctors, I'm only on 29 grand a year. Well, don't become a doctor then, you thick tart. I thought it was a vocation. But then when you get to be a consultant, you can earn hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of thousands of pounds. You can become a millionaire, especially if they dismantle the NHS and have A&E free at the point of use. Everything else you've got to pay for by insurance. That's what's coming. They're either going to have the American version of the sort of Medicaid, or they're going to have the French version of our NHS. I agree with you. 29 grand a year, plus all the little add-ons and all the little extras that they get, especially from all those nurses. So the junior doctors, this is the 11th walkout. It's the 11th time. We want more money. We want more money. Well, I'll tell you what. We'll wipe your debt off if you stay in the NHS for 10 years. I think that's in one of the manifestos. Otherwise, you can pay it back now. Get down to your bank, get the money out, and give us the money. Show me the money. You want to bugger off somewhere. You want to start and go into a commercial organisation. No. We trained you. We want the benefit for a set period of time, and if you don't, then you can give us it all back. You can pay that back over the next 20 years, you thieving tarts. The British Medical Association wants a 35% rise for these junior doctors. I mean, I hope I don't get ill. If they see this, they'll go, oh, hello, Mr. Allen. Yeah, wrong 'un. Are you the Reverend? Have you decided that you don't like junior doctors? I'm not saying I don't like junior doctors. I just dislike thieving tarts. 11th walkout, 35% pay rise. I would love a 35% pay rise, mind you. 35%, and now it's still not. So tonight, on this particular live, I'm gonna go around some of the topics. So I'll do something serious and then give you something light, and then we'll go something serious and then we'll go something light. Because I tell you, sometimes it's a bit weighty and a bit much for you. I'd like to stay here for as long as you can with this particular live. Do you know that there's fewer and fewer of us going to the cinema? Now, I kind of figured that because some of the films are a bit pants. I'm trying to find a new film called The Grab. Now, not many people have heard about it, obviously, because they don't want you to see it. But it's only available in the cinemas in America because they've got a big enough audience. It's not available over here, but I can't get a copy of it. I can't find it anywhere. And seemingly, It's the answer to everything that's going on at the moment. So if you do see, it's called The Grab. It's on IMDb if you know what I'm talking about and you use that particular app or website. But there's a 25% drop year on year for cinema going. And well, the more woke films become, the more people vote with their feet. And let's face it, have you seen the price of popcorn? At least Dick Turpin wore a mask. I mean, I swear that I'd like a large portion, please, Your Honour. And then they give you a cupful. And you think, hang on a second, I used to come to the cinema, order a large portion, and I'd get this bucket full of popcorn. And now I'm getting next to nothing. It doesn't last me 5 minutes. I'm a growing boy. How very dare you? You don't get a body like this by just being lazy. I have to feed this body quite vigorously and quite regularly, like while I'm watching a bloody film, you tarts. Who was that? The Mario movie for me was a great film. I think we've got a cherry popper there. But 25 drop year on year. It's because they're making shite in the cinema, said a spokesperson. Just to kind of give you the heads up, and I'm doing this so you don't have to read it, you're wrong. There's a new Tom Bower book out now. I did look at Tom Bower's Revenge that I bought about, Ginger's fairy tales and his misses. And now there's a new book that's coming out tomorrow, seemingly, according to Amazon. It's been dispatched. It could still go around the world 2 or 3 times before it gets to my house, but it's about the House of Beckham. It's released tomorrow. Now, as I say, I've ordered it, so you don't have to read it. But it's been serialised in the dailies this week. It's all sex and rock and roll. No recreational gear that they've said so far that I'm aware of, but Rebecca Lewis. I remember, you see, we're now getting old enough so that the stuff that they're writing about and reporting in the newspapers, we remember it because we were around for it. So when Rebecca Lewis was, Dancing with Bex, that was nearly the end of Posh and Bex. And I don't know whether you can remember, there was a bodyguard who did his biography and had to have a chapter taken out of his particular book because he said that, something happened in a New York hotel room and they had to, seemingly, from what I gather, they had to get Posh to a hospital pretty damn quick. Can't tell you anything more because it will be the subject of a... no, I can't. But it was a champagne bottle all the same. Now, you think... So, I'll get the book tomorrow and I'll probably talk about it sort of on the live on Sunday. But I'm hoping that the serialisation in some of the mainstream media, newspapers, are not going to kind of put everything in there, because that would just be boring. I'd buy the book and go, oh, could have read all of this in the Sun. But I think Tom Bower is a very, very, very good writer, a very good journalist, so he knows what's what. He investigates it all, so he's obviously had his eye on this particular book for quite a while. So hopefully it'll arrive early doors tomorrow, so I can... The Irishman was the last film I saw in the cinema, 2019. Great film. Great film. What did... the last film we saw at the cinema was... Honestly, this cold's doing my head and I can't bloody think straight. The one with Emma What's-Her-Face that won the Oscar, Best Actress. That film. King Cone. Oof. Yeah, could last you half an hour. Mary Poppins Returns, Pop-Eyed Wazza. The Emma Stone film. Yeah. No, not Emma Watson, Emma Stone. Yeah, that one. That was the last one. That was a proper mind feck. Pretty Things. Thank you. In the field. It was fabulous. Absolutely fabulous. And something that you could sort of get your head around, do a bit of thinking, because bubblegum movies. I couldn't go to a rom-com if you said I'll pay you to sit there, shut up and move nothing but your eyes. No, rom-com's not for me. It's too girly, too pink, too girly. But like Oppenheimer, I saw that. Didn't see the Barbie film. What else? But it's this. It's a bit like Doctor Who. I mentioned Doctor Who on Sunday. They've taken Doctor Who, Disney and the BBC have taken it and made it really interesting point, Alan. Did Netflix kill the cinema? Because a lot of people have either like big tellies or they have like nice sound systems in their house. So I wonder, as Alan says, has Netflix and modern technology killed? Because I'm literally, by the time me and the new Mrs. Allen have been to the cinema, it's like 25 quid on just a couple of nibbles. And you think, hang on a second, it's costing us more for food than it, and invariably we'll go out and have a bite to eat beforehand. So by the time we've been to the cinema, had a bite to eat and had some nibbles in the cinema, it's a thick end of a lot of money. So I'm not gonna, no, unless it's a special treat and we haven't been out for a while. So Pretty Things was months ago. But what was your last film? I remember the adverts for Radio Luxembourg. Bloody hell, man. People think that Disney would just be a silent partner with Doctor Who, which is just wrong. Oh man, I can't look. I don't judge, and people should be allowed to be who they are, apart from when they're going woke and they're foisting some agenda on our kids. But look, if a guy wants to kiss a guy, it's not for me. It's just not for me. When I was brought up, you would never see that. It's just not for me. I'm a straight guy. I don't judge people, though, for it. And Doctor Who, they've had the new guy, the new doctor, kissing a bloke. And you just think, why are you doing this? Why are you doing this? William Hartnell must be spinning in his grave. I mean, Christopher Eccleston, wonderful doctor. Tom Baker, wonderful doctor. They're going to kill it again because the main audience for Doctor Who is the young, white, heterosexual male. And the BBC, they just have to go and ruin it. They just have to. It's within their DNA. They've just got to kill it. So having Jodie What's-Her-Face, that was bad enough. I never watched a single episode when she was the doctor. And now I'm just not going to watch it ever again. It's just not for me. And I'm the white heterosexual boy from the northeast of England that loved all the sci-fi. You know, I would hide behind the sofa when the Daleks would come on. They scared the bejesus out of me. But no, I don't want to feel uncomfortable watching the telly in my own home. So, in the words of the great Chinese philosopher, Foxtrot Oscar. Daleks in the 60s scared me to death. So it's like cinema. The reason why people are walking away from the cinema, and its audience figures are down 25% year on year, is because people are voting with their feet. They're not interested in you going, the film studios and the PR companies going, oh, this is wonderful. Yes, it's the best film since, well, I've been to see them, and then it's not the best film since anything. It's just shite. So I'm not going to go anymore. I'd rather, the pronouns. Wow, don't get me started. I mean, so the way I see things, I don't need a pronoun to tell anybody who I am, because I would hope that anybody that I meet would go, hello, and who are you? I'm Adrian. Oh, hello. And they would know who I was. They don't have to go, oh, what's your pronouns? My pronouns are fuck off. Sorry, language, Timothy. But it's just, no, it's this not only identity politics, but it's people going, we need to control you. We're going to tell you what you can and can't do. No, you can't. Off you go, Bonnie lad. I'm not interested. I'm not. And they go, well, you have to have pronouns. No, I bloody don't. So you know how these, I don't know what that's supposed to mean, but you know how these politicians, they're like the Tory politicians, all the, the rent boys, the spanking, the mistresses, the illegitimate children coming out of ministers, and all that. I was going to say this to you a couple of weeks ago. There was somebody from the Lib Dems in the kind of 7-round debate. That was a proper mass debate. There were 7 of them. And the Lib Dem went, oh, yes, we're the party of Paddy Ashdown. And I was like, Paddy Pants Down. And I thought, you see, the media have done their job. Because as much as he's probably Lord Ashdown or something, and very well thought of and very well respected, he had his trousers round his ankles, giving his secretary one over the desk in the Parliament. And you just think, you're never going to be able to get rid of that. Don't tell me, oh, this is the party of Paddy Ashdown. Yeah, Paddy Pants Down, mate. That was the wonderful headline on the front of the Sun. Wonderful, Paddy Pants Down. So we've got all these. I mean, some people are saying, well, Adrian, it's rather good if we have, some of the stories, some of the wonderful stories and scandals of the Tories. We're going to lose those. Oh, let me just tell you. Doesn't matter who gets into government, the stories are all the same. I mean, I'm hearing some stories that's making my hair curl at my age. And I'm thinking, they can't, surely not. I can't. Yes, I can. So which member of Parliament used to be a sex worker? There you go. I know who it is. Can't tell you. Feckers. People will think, oh, I say. Yeah, smash the like to your ones. We've only, hang on, 61, 62 likes. Whoa, tough audience tonight. 150 people watching this. And 60, what can I say? So, I don't judge anyone for anything. And they would just have been getting themselves through life as we do daily. And ultimately, we're all just walking each other home. But there are some stuff that we find out about. I mean, I knew about Cyril Smith before all that came out. I knew about Sir John Gielgud and Edward Heath and Greville Janner cruising around Soho and picking up rent boys. That's as far as I'm going to go with that particular story. But, and it's like, when the miners' strike was on, I was talking to a load of miners because me, my father, my family, we have pits in our family, we have mining in our family. So we stood shoulder to shoulder with the miners. And the miners used to tell us all kinds of bits and pieces about stuff that I can't repeat here because it's so incendiary and contentious. But I knew that these people weren't lying, and they used to tell me about high-ranking politicians. I've told you the story of being in a radio station one Sunday morning, right at the beginning of my career. And I was doing, it must have been 7 till 10 on a Sunday morning, which was fairly early considering... Hang on. I think I've missed something. GB Patriot, there are some comments that I really do need to respond to. And I'm sorry to hear that. That must have been very traumatic for you, your family, and your mum. And I'm so sorry to hear that. But we can talk away from the public arena for that. So I was on air, and I saw this young kid in reception. Now, if you imagine, I'm looking at my camera now, and to my right, I saw this young kid, could have been no more than 11 or 12-year-old, sitting in reception. And I said to the guy that was coming on afterwards at 10 o'clock, who was going to interview this politician, and we had special branching with the dogs and all the security to make sure that the whole building was safe and secure, and all of his security detail were there. And I said to the guy, is so-and-so, do you want me to go and get his son a drink? And the presenter says, you haven't seen anything, Adrian. What? Do you not want me to go and get that little guy something to drink? Because he looks a bit out of it, as in he's a bit all this in a radio station. And the guy that was going to do the interview said, no, you haven't seen anything, Adrian. Don't do anything. You don't have to. You haven't seen anything. Go home. And I said, right, okay. So I finished my show. And I know who this person is and was and which party he belonged to and which ministerial post he held. But that wasn't his son sitting in reception. Obviously. But he couldn't have been any more than 12-year-old. And I didn't know what to do with that. I didn't even go home and tell my family because I didn't know how dangerous it was, because there are dangers attached to that kind of story and language. But please don't think that just because it's the Labour Party getting into power that those stories will stop, because they won't. I mean, are you worried that a Labour landslide might actually dry up the supply of political sleaze that we've been accustomed to in recent years? Oh, don't be. Please don't be. Now that the party is forecast to win, according to the Tory graph, a 392-seat majority. They're obviously going to win a bunch of seats previously considered unwinnable. Some of the lesser vetted candidates they've tossed into the lost cause constituencies might actually make it to Westminster. So in one seat, they've put forward a candidate who was well known to women in SW1. That's London, before you ask. Despite having a long-term partner, he remains a relentless text pest, bombarding ladies who catch his eye with endless messages. One woman counted an unbroken string of 30 plus WhatsApps trying to coax her out for a drink. Him totally undeterred by the fact that she hadn't replied to a single one of them. So can we expect business as usual in the Commons from July the 5th? Let me tell you about Gary Glitter. So recently, probably about a month ago, some of the publishing connected with Gary Glitter said, no, he doesn't make a penny. No, he doesn't. No. Well, do you want to know how much filth Gary Glitter makes from his music? Because I'm going to tell you. They told us he doesn't make a penny. Okay. When we were told he doesn't make a penny, Gary Glitter has been ordered to pay £500,000 to one of his victims. Now, where does a thoroughly disgraced sex offender like Glitter get his hands on a sum like that? Well, thanks to some well-placed songwriting credits, the cash never really stopped rolling in. Glitter made an estimated £1 million plus for having his lyrics to Hello, I'm Back Again. And somebody said that Nigel Farage has used that recently. Oh, the optics, Nigel, man. Didn't one of your advisors not tell you? It sampled Hello, I'm Back Again, sampled on the opening track of Oasis' What's the Story, Morning Glory, earning a commission with every copy sold. He sang Do You Want to Touch Me? Oh, yeah. And that was featured on the 2011 episode of Glee, performed by Gwyneth Paltrow. Although the NFL did step in to ban Rock and Roll Part 2 from being played at the Super Bowl in 2012, it's been a popular US stadium staple for the NBA, MLB, and NHL. Using a cover version didn't stop his slice of the songwriting money getting through, and Billboard reported it was generating an estimated £250,000 per year in performance royalties as late as 2014. So you see, there's money in them there hills. Lauren Taylor says, I've had that in a police station many, many years ago, circa 1980. Men in suits appear from... Now, I know people might think that I'm jesting, but in certain circumstances, you have to be very circumspect in what you say. You have to. And we will get to Jeremy Vine and Joey Barton in a second, because it's not finished. So let's talk about, I don't know, Euros 2024. I watched a bit of the Hungary match earlier and the Germany match. And this is not being a misogynist, but I just can't. A woman commentating doesn't quite have the passion for me. It just doesn't work. And maybe call me old-fashioned, I'm happy to take that. Call me anything you want other than a misogynist, because I'm not. But it just doesn't work. So it'll be interesting to see the stats on these matches where the BBC have women commentators, because it's just awful, absolutely awful. And as a little aside, because you know that I like to... I'm a bit of a Templar fan, Knight Templar. I like the history to do with the Templars because it's complex and it's very deep and it's over 1,000 years old. But I looked at the Slovakia badge that they're wearing on their shirts in the Euros, and it's got a Templar cross on it. And I've looked at Hungary today, and they've got a Templar cross on there. And I keep thinking, what? I didn't realise that they had Templar crosses on their insignia, on their sports teams. Ooh. Just something for you to keep your eye on. And the French strip, that's got a Templar connection. There's loads there. It's all a lot of it is hidden in plain sight. But because I've sort of studied it for numerous years and read all of the Dan Jones books and on the history and the background, and just love history, that's how I know. But I doubt anybody else does, just watching the footy. So I wonder if there's going to be... I've seen videos online at the Euros. Somebody was going, oh, the English are kicking off. The English are kicking off. Well, it was actually the Serbians that was kicking off. It wasn't the English at all. And then they were going, oh, the English are fighting the Germans. Well, it wasn't. It was the Albanians. So just because they look like they've got English in them, white, that's all they've got to go on. And seemingly they're serving really watered down beer for the English because they're scared of the fighting. I don't understand this, because weed is everywhere. I mean, it's everywhere. In this country, you can't walk around without smelling it. It's a disgusting smell. But it's legal in Germany. So I don't know how all this fighting's happening if they've got weed legal in Germany, unless obviously they're not doing it in their home country. And the question I've got is it legal to do some in Germany and then come back home where it's still in your system, still in your hair follicles? Oh, no, Your Honour, honestly, I was just over in Germany for the Euros. Went to watch England play. It's legal over there. Question for you, though. If they think that the powers that be, if they think that we are kicking off, they're going to make it illegal in this country, they don't want civil unrest on the streets, they'll just have everybody getting off their nut on weed. Is it ever going to be made legal in the UK? And how far will they go? Will they go as far as the Dutch and allow injectable heroin in certain parks? They'll have certain places where it's safe so people don't die. But just remember this. Recreational gear keeps everybody subjugated. Keeps everyone oppressed. those that are taking it, certainly. But after watching the German match earlier, 2 matches, 2 wins, best side so far in the tournament. But are they going to be able to maintain it? England are not going to beat Germany from what I've seen, unless they start playing well. And talking of Germany, I once went to see some friends in Luxembourg, and they had really small young children. And they said, oh, what we're going to do is we don't live too far from just over the border of Germany. So we're going to go to this bear park, like an indigenous black bear park in Germany. So I was like, brilliant. And it was the height of summer. I got lost. They were off somewhere else doing something with the kids in the pram. And you could buy peanuts and chuck peanuts at the bears. I'm sure it wasn't the best idea. So I was just, there was some bears around and I was just chucking some peanuts. And this woman appeared from nowhere. And she was just whittering on in German. And I can barely speak any German. And I sort of said to her, ich spreche Nacht or something. And she kind of looked at me. She was trying to work out what I was saying. I said, ich bin ein Engländer. Ah, du bist ein Engländer. Ja. I'm English. She says, oh, you're English. And I was getting a bit brassed because she was whittering, thinking I could speak German. And because she was getting a bit on my nerves, I thought, I'm going to have a bit of sport with this. I'm going to mouse her. Because I was bored watching these black bears do bugger all. Other than look at me going, chuck me some peanuts, you're wrongin'. So she started whittering. And I said, 9. Du bist eine großen Biffer. You're a big biffer. And she goes, was ist das? That's like, what's that? Ich bin ein Battenberger. Brilliant, Alan. And she says, eine großen Biffer, was ist das? And I said, it's in English, a beautiful woman. She looks at me dead in the eye and goes, ich bin ein beautiful woman. Ja, du bist eine großen Biffer. You're a big biffer. And she's wandering around going, ja, ich bin eine großen Biffer. And so she kind of wandered off with the kid. Was machen Sie? What are you doing? Oh, I'm not doing anything. Ich bin eine großen Biffer. So there's a woman in Germany somewhere that thinks eine großen Biffer, big biffer, is it's translated into English means she's a beautiful woman. I got out there quick. So no, I'm not very good at German, but at least I managed to use my schoolboy German to tell her she's a big biffer. Well, it made her happy. That's all I can say. As I promised you, we would talk about Jeremy Vine and Joey Barton. Now, I put a video up, I think it was yesterday, and said that Jeremy had won 75 grand from Joey Barton. But then Jeremy had to release a statement because Joey apologised. He said he would pay the 75 grand and he would pay Jeremy's legal fees. But that's not the end of it. And I kind of get what people and their opinions of Jeremy, but you must remember this. This is in a civil court. It's not illegal, but it's a civil court. It's a defamation court. It's a defamation suit in a civil court. And if somebody said something about me that I knew to be wholly untrue and actually defamed me, then I would do exactly the same thing. You can't go around shouting your mouth off about people because, as I say when I talk about certain things and or certain people, these are my personal experiences. This is not defamatory. It's my personal experiences. So Jeremy's had to pull Joey Barton in the line by saying, you can't say that, Joey. And we're going to find a court of law to agree or disagree. So after the court made its determination yesterday, Jeremy's had to put out a statement on X. And it says, the news of Joey Barton's apology and commitment to pay damages and costs is not the final outcome of this case. After 5 defamatory tweets, my lawyer offered Barton a chance to settle, pay £75,000 plus my costs, and make an apology. He ignored that offer and posted more disgusting tweets about me, even publishing my home address to his followers. We've been here before. When I then took my case to the High Court, a judge ruled that 10 of the tweets I complained of were defamatory. Having lost, Barton has returned to the offer we made after tweet 5. There has therefore been a parallel action on tweets 6 to 10, and Barton will pay further damages for these. A number of other steps, including statements made in court by way of apology, are still to be taken, and Barton has agreed to pay my legal costs of all of the claims. So it may be that the determination by the court and the subsequent publishing of the agreement with the court, one side may have wanted it to be done and over. But who said that? Martin, you can't say that, because that was one of the defamatory terms. You can't. And even if you think that, and I'm not trying to, there's a lot of people doing this, and I don't mean to pull Martin up in solace, but a lot of people think that just because they're typing on their keyboard and it's going into their computer, that it is, it's not monitored. And you can get into a lot of trouble. Now, even with my legal training, I still err on the side of caution sometimes. But Joey Barton's finding it's going to be massively expensive. So there's every chance this could be £150,000 in damages and hundreds of thousands of pounds in costs, just because he thought that he was safe by saying it on his phone or his computer. You can't. And that's why some of the other YouTubers, I've seen some of the other YouTubers just willingly saying things, and I just think you can't say that. You literally cannot under any circumstances. And they think, oh, well, I'm just doing a piece to camera. I'll have a walk around and I'll do this and I'll do this and I'll call him this. You can't. I've seen some YouTubers, when we had the Hugh Edwards debacle, they were naming certain other presenters with impunity. And they were like saying, oh, yeah, it's definitely them. Definitely them. It has to be them. Well, it wasn't. But they killed that particular video very quickly. I'm not going to say who it was. I'm not going to get them into any kind of trouble. That's not my shtick. But where is it? Some of my friends published this book. So if you're a YouTuber, get a hold of this, because it really does give you everything that you need to know about broadcasting on YouTube or social media. And both the Pauls, Paul Chandler sadly is no longer around, but Paul Hollins is a lovely, lovely, lovely man. And this is a very helpful book, because you don't want to have to hire a brief for 100 grand or 200 grand, because it's very, very expensive. But I'm going to keep an eye on that, because evidently it's only one half and it's not complete. To give you a little insight, because I'm trying to cram as much in it tonight and entertain you as much as I can. We're nearly at 100 likes, so if you could please just keep smashing the likes if you haven't already. You know that we can't talk about the case with the woman that threw the banana milkshake at Nigel Farage the other week. Can't necessarily talk about that, but do you know she's trying to she's auctioning her attack tracksuit on eBay. Obviously wants to make a bit of money. That's the only reason I can think of, that she's selling the tracksuit that she wore when she threw the milkshake at Nigel Farage. Seemingly, the money goes to a cancer charity. She's flogging it on eBay. And she says, there are some banana shake stains. Oh, I'm sure. Have you No, I can't say that. But you know what banana shake stains look like, don't you? Correct. Maybe that's why she's getting rid of it. Talking of Europe and France, as we have been this evening, can I tell you that France is heading for a financial crisis that could bring the whole of the Eurozone down? Because you know we've got Sakir. Did you know his dad was a toolmaker? So it could bring the whole of the Eurozone down. Do you know that the franc is still available via the French government? Because they kept it back, and the Deutschmark for the Germans, because they were unsure as how long the Eurozone was going to last. But with the yield on France's massive debts rising and with equities crashing, Emmanuel, has lit the fuse on a Eurozone debt crisis, and he won't be able to put it out. I mean, I understand and completely agree that French politics can often be chaotic, and parties rise and parties fall. But this time round, it is the reaction of the financial markets, ordinarily detached from political shenanigans, that is most troubling. On Monday morning, French bonds and equities tumbled. And they have carried on falling steadily ever since. The spread between French and German 10-year government bonds, the key measure of the country's risk, witnessed its biggest weekly spike since 2011, right at the start of the Greek crisis. So watch the French, because Macron's not going to stay in power. Wonder who they're going to vote in, because that's why he lit the blue touch paper, pun intended, and stood back, because France is deep in the doo-doo. And you think the Eurozone, why do you think they want the Brits back in there? They want our billions to prop up the Eurozone. That's why they want us back in. Project Fear. Remember where you heard it first. France is in the doo-doo. France needs us back in the Eurozone. France needs us to prop them up and the Eurozone. But is that going to happen under Keir Starmer? Oh, you bet you sweet bippy baby. I don't know whether you've been watching the Eamon Holmes story. So the way that the media works, say me and an old girlfriend who worked in the media, and we'd sort of split, and it wasn't amicable, and I was putting stuff in the mainstream media, which had layers, and I was pointing fingers. Well, the other half would put stuff back into the media, so it would be a very noisy and a very sad split. But poor Eamon Holmes, there's loss accusations from possibly Ruth's camp. I don't know how they're doing it, but she's insinuating stuff. Now, he comes out on a Zimmer after having his hair cut. I know the feeling, Eamon. Look, without putting too fine a point on it, looking at how shattered the guy's back is, there's not a decent shag in him. He had a double hip replacement in 2016. He had a back operation last year. Now, seemingly, Ruth found messages between Eamon and a close friend, a divorcee who works as a relationship counsellor. Oh, the irony. And now, Celebrity Big Brother are trying to get Eamon for 250 grand for the next series. Because they say, oh, he's quite a character, quite a personality. He'd be wonderful on TV. Oh, I bet. So it will rumble on until Eamon decides, because I think he's having to sell his house in Belfast, which is worth about 250 grand, to pay off his tax bill, from what I've read. And this 250 grand would see him right. So who knows? But there was, remember when Fern went into the last Celeb Big Brother, somebody, I think it was Catherine, Princess of Wales, uncle or something, Uncle Gary, was in there going, oh, do you know that they're possibly bringing Philip, what's his face, into Celeb Big Brother? And Fern says, Philip Schofield. Yeah, there's rumours he's coming in. And you could see Fern's derriere fall out all over the floor. And she's like, no. If he comes in here, I'm not staying. I'm going. So, can you imagine Eamon and Ruth in the Big Brother household? Cool, blimey, that I would pay money to watch that. Talking about Sir Keir Starmer, is he scaring you yet? Labour are pledging to reinstate the 2030 ban on new petrol and diesel vehicles. Plus, they want to support buyers of used electric vehicles. I mean, come on. It's Westminster. It's the WEF agenda. It's Agenda 21. It's Agenda 2030. They want me and you to stop buying diesel cars and petrol cars because they want us to have electric cars. And we can't charge them. But the insurance policies are astronomical to buy an electric car. Now, at some point, we might buy a hybrid, which we kind of got one, sort of. But I'm not going to electric, ever, because I know what they want it for. I know what they're going to do. I know how they're going to do it. And am I going to play along with their game? No. So, seemingly, by standardising the information supplied on the conditions of batteries, it's going to help people have a more informed, make a more informed decision on whether to buy one or not. The commitment in the Labour Party's manifesto announced a couple of days ago, claiming that this would provide certainty to manufacturers. What would they want to do that for? The move would reverse the decision of Prime Minister Rishi Sunak in September last year to delay the ban on the sale of new petrol and diesel cars and vans in the UK from 2030 to 2035. Now, today, Starmer, I'm going to ask you again, is he scaring you yet? He doesn't give a flying about you. He doesn't give a flying about anybody except himself. Today in The Guardian, and I quote, Islam has embraced the LGBTQ plus, I still don't know what the plus is, community. My aim is to get Britain to embrace Islam. And I thought about this, and I thought about, Sir Keir. How about Islam embraces the mighty Great Britain? Not the other way around? Or is it just Sir Keir Starmer and the political establishment begging for votes? Because they've got George Galloway. I think it's tomorrow that George Galloway's Workers' Party is releasing their manifesto. And is Sir Keir worried that some of the northern towns are not even going to be red? They're going to be George Galloway's Workers' Party. So the Labour base is being nibbled at all around the edges. So he's saying, and I'll quote it to you again, Islam has embraced the LGBTQ plus community. My aim, that's Sir Keir speaking, is to get Britain to embrace Islam. My response is, we're a very welcoming race here in the United Kingdom, in Great Britain. Some of the embracing, we have no option. Because if we don't, we are being fingered as racist, and we are most certainly not. But thereby lies the rub, divide and conquer. So maybe Sir Keir, the white guy, married to a Jewish woman, how very dare he? Has he had a word with his missus? I'd love to know how they get on over their lasagna of an evening. He's telling us something that actually is unpalatable to other people. I would suggest that we've accepted all kinds of European powers into this country. I mean, William of Orange in 1066, he changed everything, Billy, when he came across. How about the Vikings? How about the Norse, the Normans? How about the French? How about the Dutch? How about those coming here embrace who we are, embrace our nationality, embrace our heritage, so long as they don't start chucking orange dust at Stonehenge? Why don't they start embracing us? Because we're actually a really good nation, a really wonderful, friendly, supportive nation. And this divisive tart is saying, oh, maybe we should embrace Islam. Well, actually, why don't we all embrace each other? Kia, mate. Notice how they're divide and conquer. There's a little village called Snettisham in Norfolk. It's being terrorised by 100 feral chickens, seemingly. And there is an estimated 124 million chickens in this country. Now, do these chickens have a mighty leader? Is there a large cock on the loose? Just asking for a friend. The villagers are afraid. I mean, has somebody not said to them, look, you can choke your chickens if you want? If you're afraid of, like, these 100 feral chickens, just grab them by the neck, choke them. Doesn't last long, but, you know, it might help if you start choking your chickens, or at least tackle a big cock. I mean, it sounds like a script for Chicken Run. Can you imagine the rise of the supercock? 99 of them were choked. I mean, in Norfolk, inbred, there must be some choking the chickens going on there. I mean, if they've got to get rid of 100, I'm sure there are some Conservative politicians that would help them out. They'll be aware of how they can choke the chickens. So I would also like to add to what we've been talking about this evening as to why these charlatans won't get my particular vote. I mean, politics has just been relegated to pantomime fodder. It's all this. Have you noticed how, like, one side will go, oh, it's them, it's them, it's them. And then the them will go, no, 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 it's them, it's them, it's them. And we're all sitting in the middle going, will you just shut up and do something about this? Well, you said you'll stop the boats. And then Sir Keir says, well, we'll put a cap on it. We'll put a cap of 100,000 on it. And we know that it won't be 100,000. It's never been 100,000, including when the last Labour Party was in town. And how were they counting them? Well, they were counting the male heads in. And then when they got rid of some of them, they put the kids and the wives, the female heads, with the male heads. So say there was 100,000 males come in. But what they would do is they would say there's 100,000 gone out. But that included the wife and the kids. So actually, it was only 25,000 of the 100,000 that came in, but they went out with a wife and 2 kids. Honestly, you can't trust these snake oil sellers. They're at it. They are at it all of the time. They're liars, man. That's why. It's just pantomime. You see, until something changes, politics will continue to be just another distraction circus. We'll watch those huckster entertainers laughing and sneering at each other as we do the same to them online. Probably all the way up to the point where we lose our work and we lose our home, we starve slowly to death or succumb to mental disorders, though perhaps only killing ourselves when they take away our smartphones. Just remember, you will own nothing and be happy. And Sir Keir Starmer is the man that's going to invoke that over the next 8 years. Could be 10 years if he does 2 5-year terms. Let's very quickly touch on America, because this is the game, and you know that I speak truthfully, and you know that I try to see through the fog of war and try to get some clarity on what these idiots are up to. Well, we've got Biden and Trump there. Did you see Barack Obama lead Joe Biden off stage yesterday? They were at a fundraiser. And Obama just had to sort of gently go, Joe, is the Colombian wearing off? Come with me, come with me. Let's just get you off stage, Joe. Don't worry, just follow me. And you think, this is the man of the free world. So I think because what they're doing is they're pointing. So the Democrats are pointing at Trump, going, he's mentally unsure of himself. He's mumbling and grumbling, and well, he's old, and his mental faculties are not great. And I'm thinking, hang on a second, it's a whole lot better than Poopy Pants Joe. La Petomane, Fart Pants Joe, he'll be farting the American national anthem next. Mind you, if he's standing by Emmanuel Macron would know what La Petomane is. Did you see that with Leonard Rossiter? So, I'm going to ask you a question, because maybe you have the answer. But is Project Ditch Biden underway? Obama led him off stage the other day. He was there at the D-Day commemorations, and he was like, where am I? Who am I? What's going on? Where's the aliens? And you look at him and you think, Jill, get him off stage. And obviously, he'd filled his pants with the brown stuff. And that's why Jill led him off somewhere, obviously to change his nappy. And you think, this man leads the free world. But Big Mike's saying he's not going to run. Sorry, Michelle Obama. So Big Mike's not going to run. Who they're looking at now? So this is what I think the game is. So they're going to have Trump versus Biden on June 27th. And if Biden makes a completely horrible fist of it, the Democrats are going to go, we need somebody else. He's been a great president. He's been a great vice president. He's done enough, and he's mentally infirm because of, the accident with his brain and the surgery. He's going to have to be put down. Now, I don't know whether you have, and I'm going to try and find it. I've got the still, but I haven't got the video. There was an interview with Joe Biden. And Joe Biden, from here down to here, looked like Joe Biden. But in Sunderland, we used to have a phrase. And it was those people that would wash their hands and face, but they wouldn't wash their body, used to have something round their neck called a tide mark. Now, it was something from the ships that we used to build, because in Sunderland, we built some of the best ships in the world. And we used to call it a tide mark because it's something that would go around a ship, and it would just show you how deep in the water the ship would sit. And I looked at Joe Biden, I thought, bugger me, he's got a tide mark. And literally, it was white from the middle of his neck up to the top of his head. And from the middle of his neck down, it was a black man. And I was like, how are they getting away with this? Nobody had a look at him and said, Joe, do your shirt up. Do your shirt up, man. Or whichever actor is playing him. It's just there. You know that it's not Joe Biden always. You know it's an actor with these masks, these new modern age masks that they're wearing. And I don't know how they changed the voice, but they're using some very, very good technology. But from here, around here, he was a white guy up to there, and he was a black man all the way down. Because it was brown from his neck. And I was like, do they not care anymore? It's like, we don't care. We know what we're doing. If you find out, we don't care. I'm going to find the video, and I'm going to put it on this channel for you so you can see. As I say, I have the still, and I'll do that in my Ranty Rolex video tomorrow. I'll let you see that picture. It's just insane how they are so lax and don't care whether we see it or not. They've given up now. They've literally given up. So the powers that be in America are trying to decide at which point do they ditch Biden and who do they bring in. So as I say, the Ditch Biden project could be underway. They're letting things slide, and President Poopy Pants is just going to be put out to pasture, and somebody else will take on President Trump. It's fascinating. Fascinating. So I'm going to give you a bit more insight into, to kind of round things off. Got about another 5 minutes if you will stay with me, please. This is the most important thing. On Sunday, I told you that Vladimir Putin, the president of Russia, offered a peace deal of sorts to Volodymyr Zelensky in Ukraine. So 2 days before, probably Friday or Saturday, Vladimir Putin said, and I paraphrase, "We are happy to broker a deal." And then Volodymyr Zelensky on Sunday said, "We are happy to meet with the Russian representatives and broker a peace deal." Now, if you read any of the online media or any of the printed media, the mainstream media, have you seen that anywhere? Because I have the speeches that both men made in Russian and Ukrainian. So I know what they were saying was true, but the mainstream are not. The mainstream is like, "No, Volodymyr, keep going, you're going to win, don't worry, you're going to win." And none of the mainstream are looking at America is a busted flush. America's done. America is so far in debt, it is done, finished, over. The Saudi Arabians are not using the petrodollar anymore. They're not using the dollar as the fallback, the petrodollar. They're not. They had a 50-year deal to sell all of their oil with and using the American petrodollar. Everybody's forgotten about the BRICS. Brazil, Russia, India, China, and South Africa, I think. So Russia have been out and had a meeting with China. He's meeting Kim Jong-un. And it's the first time in 24 years he's been to North Korea. Doubt he's going to go across to Brazil. But all of these countries are now, and I think part of the reason why America's really upset with Iran is because Iran wants to sell its oil in anything but the American dollar. Russia, Saudi Arabia, China, they don't want to sell their oil in the American dollar. They're going to use the yen and all kinds of other currencies. And Vladimir Putin is a very, very clever boy, to paraphrase. Do you know that Russia supplies 40% of the UK's gas supply? Imagine if they switched that off. Russia, I've told you, Russia is trying to get a hold of the Caspian Sea oil and gas, help Israel and the Brits and the Americans and the French get the oil and the gas out of Gaza and the East Mediterranean Sea. The reason why Russia went into Afghanistan was to get that oil and gas out of the Caspian Sea in the 80s. They knew it was there. They know that there's gas and oil, huge amounts of it, under the Black Sea, which is why they are in Crimea and they want control of some of Ukraine. So Vladimir Putin's not stupid. He wants control of the gas and the oil. Energy independence. And are they going to get it? Excuse me. So Russia is reclaiming its position as Europe's top gas supplier. Russia has surpassed the US as the primary supplier of gas to Europe, despite efforts by the region to reduce reliance on Russian energy sources. Several factors, including a one-time outage at a major US LNG export facility and maintenance work on Russian pipelines, contributed to the reversal. As I say, Russia supplies 40% of Europe's gas supply. That's why Vladimir Putin is meeting with the decision makers, important decision makers like China and North Korea, Trump went into North Korea as soon as he was president. Just remember the BRICS. Those nations that cobbled together and said no more. We're not going to rely on America. And look at the next 6 months, what America's going to go through, and it's all going to come home to roost. They've allowed a president to destroy America. And we watched on while the White House was burning. It's coming. It is coming. I was going to ask you a few more questions, but I'll save them for Sunday because, as I said at the very beginning, I've just got some kind of flu-y, coldy thing like man flu. Whenever we get man flu, we're all next to death's door. Not being flippant about it, but so not feeling very well tonight. So I'm going to cut it a little shorter than normal. Thank you for getting us over 100 likes this evening, but please, if you haven't already, smash the likes on your way out of the body of the Kirk. Please make sure, if you haven't had any, that you've had a little snifter of the altar wine and a little square of Battenberg, because it'll help with your blood sugars. And I hope you stay well, be well, and it's good to see lots of people that are regulars and some who are dealing with extraordinary circumstances, and I personally wish you very well, the best that you can with given your circumstances, your own health and your family's health. So please be well. Thank you for your indulgence this evening. Thank you for being here for the live. We'll do it again Sunday at 8. Remember that I'm on X. I post a little more on X than I do here because it's easier somehow. So if you're on X, please join me at Adrian Allen. You're bound to find me. It's my real name. And I would love to see you across on X. But until Sunday at 8, and more videos to come tomorrow, whatever you do, wherever you go, be safe and don't forget the Battenberg. Be well, and I'll see you tomorrow for more videos.